Hi, my name is Punyawat Mantanon and I'm going to talk about my term paper. So the title of my term paper is Linguistic Minority in Carol and Children of a Lesser God. And the thesis statement is how heteronormative and phonocentric languages inflict epistemic violence in Carol and Children of a Lesser God. So I assume that we've already seen and read Carol, The Price of Salt in our literature and film class, and we've already talked about examples of epistemic violence inflicted upon Therese and Carol's relationship, how these two women have to pay in order to be together, how Carol was medically treated in order to be with her child Rindy, and especially how the heteronormative language failed to cater to their relationship, which is epistemically violent. And because of that, I've seen so many similarities to another film, and it is an adaptation with the same name, a film called Children of a Lesser God, which was made in 1986. And to give you the kind of backstory is that I'm interested in ASL or American Sign Language, and although I can sign a little bit but very poorly, but Children of a Lesser God is like a staple film, and it is one of, if not the only film that has a leading deaf character that has gained prominence, if not the only one film that has deaf character that has gained prominence in the mainstream cinematography. The leading actress won the Academy Award in that year. So the story, it is about how a hearing speech teacher called James is hired to teach deaf students at a deaf school, and in that school he falls in love with a deaf woman called Sarah, and they fall in love, and throughout the film we kind of see how their relationship develop. But throughout the film we also see how James kind of epistemically violent towards Sarah in how he tried to teach her how to speak and how he tried to draw her out from her deaf community, because Sarah is unwilling to speak unlike his other deaf students. And because of that, I have seen how us, the phonocentric people who communicate through verbalizing instead of signing or using our physical gestures, our attempt in order to interpret how deaf people speak can be kind of epistemically violent. For example, I've seen so many interviews of this film, and one of the actresses who play this version of the film on Broadway, she signed this sign, which means distance. But the interpreter, who does a very fluent and a very great job throughout the whole interview, but instead of interpreting distance, she said great chasm. And right there I kind of realized how subjective it is for us to, in an attempt for us in trying to interpret their language. And because of that, I think I'm going to use Derrida's theory on deconstruction in order to study the epistemic violence in sign language. And because of that, I sort of wonder the function of our spoken language, the phonocentric language, that is it really inclusive? Does our phonocentric standard has rendered people with hearing difficulties disabled? Because if we consider the situation vice versa, especially in ASL, in America, there are 10 million people in the US who are hard of hearing and 1 million people who are deaf. And just to think of it in the situation in another light, if I went inside a deaf school, I'm just going to be the only one who's incompetent of communication. I'm going to be the only one who does not understand anything that they were saying. And if we look in a different light, the deaf community is huge, but because of our phonocentric standard, we forget to acknowledge them. And that's going to be the main focus of my paper, Languages in the Heteronormative World and also the Phonocentric World. And apart from linguistic issues, I'm going to do the textual analysis as well. I've already downloaded the Children of a Lesser God's original play, and I'm just going to talk about adaptation versus appropriation, and I haven't got the time to finish the whole thing, but so far I've already seen a few similar issues of equity versus equality as well as male gaze from both films, and I'm going to discuss on that. Also, I want to find the answer to the end of Children of a Lesser God, because at the end, Sarah and James, they decide to be together and they come to the conclusion that in order for their relationship to work, they have to find a place that is not in silence and not in sound. And from that statement, I think I can draw a conclusion back again to Derrida's deconstruction theory. So I'm going to dwell on that. And lastly, I want to address the importance of silent film, because ironically, just a few generations before us, people went to movie houses and the only option that they had is actually silent film. But thanks to technological advancement, we were able to add some music, add some voices so that we can hear what the actors are talking about, and eventually we were able to add so many cool special effects. But we might have forgotten that the origin of all of this crazy, amazing world of cinematography actually originated from silent film. So yeah, I just want to discuss more about that, and that would be everything I'm going to study and do a research on my term paper. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.